Okay, we're going to re-examine problem 13.1a, and we're just going to compute the IRR, the internal rate of return. So just returning to the question, you'll recall the company purchased some old computers it's thinking about replacing with new ones. If it sold the old computers today, it would get 35 grand. So that's a cash flow coming in today. The new computers would cost 150. Over the 5-year life of the computers, they would save operating expenses by 40 grand for the first 3 years, 40 grand a year, and 20 grand a year in the last 2 years. And the residual value of new computers is 12 grand. So afterwards, we would collect 12 grand reselling our computers. The cost of capital is 12%. If we're computing IRR, we don't even look at that number. All we do is look at the cash flows. So we drew this up already. That's why I'm kind of zipping through this a little bit. We drew up what the expected future cash flows were, and we did the net present value of 11 grand. By the way, just a quick thought exercise. Okay, so the net present value was $11,000. That tells me the internal rate of return is higher than 12%. Why? Because this thing generated a positive net present value at 12%, right? If it was exactly zero, we'd say, oh, the internal rate of return was the same as the project's cost of capital. But because the net present value was higher than zero, it means the internal rate of returns we get here is going to be higher than 12%. So all we have to do, and again, I'm going to encourage you to use Excel or a financial calculator to do this. You could do it by hand, but it would be a big pain. What we need to do is just put those future cash flows out on a table. So we got year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4, and year 5. And in year 0, what's happening? Well, we are trading in our old computer for 35 grand and buying new ones for 150. So again, the old computer nets us a positive 35,000. The new computer's a negative 150. Just get some formatting stuff here. Okay, year 1 looks like we're saving, let's see, 40 grand, 40 grand, 40 grand, and years 4 and 5. So 40, 40, 40 in years 1, 2, and 3. Years 4 and 5, 20 and 20. And in year 5, we also get some money back because we're going to sell this thing for $12,000. That's the residual value. So we'll sell this for 12 grand. Okay, so let's figure out the cash flows. So in year 0, it's, I thought I had equals sum. In year 0, it's $115,000 negative cash flow, and 40, 40, 40, 20. And in year 5, it's $32,000 positive cash flow. So what's the internal rate of return? Again, we're expecting to see a number above 12%. So I just go equals IRR, bracket, and then just the cash flows, the annualized cash flows there. So I hit enter. 16%. Now let's see, I'm going to get some more decimals. 16.4487%. So that is the discount rate at which the net present value would be 0. In other words, if our what's it called here? Sorry, our cost of capital was only 12%. Obviously, an internal rate of return being 16% means this is a good investment. It returns more than the cost of capital. That's really what we're looking at here. So this would be a worthy investment to make, and we figure that out, and we reach much the same conclusion as we did under net present value. So again, we could do this by trial and error, but I don't think it's really worth it to do in this video. But we could simply trial and error to get to this number, and it'd be much easier in Excel, but you could theoretically do it by hand, but you wouldn't be having much fun, I don't expect. Okay, we're going to leave the video here and stay tuned for the next one.